There's been a bit of movement in this space this morning, Andrew. So you've also got this letter that was signed by the Prime Ministers of Australia, New Zealand, as well as Canada, basically arguing for a ceasefire, a sustainable ceasefire. It does go on to say that it's incumbent on two sides. Ceasefires have been broken before. It's similar to what Anthony Albanese and Penny Wong have said in the past, but basically it's different because you've got these extra leaders who have signed on and giving it weight, which is where we are right now with that UN resolution passing this morning.
I think it's a further movement by Australia, but then again, I read Joe Biden's recently said that Israel could lose the support of Europe. It now has that support if it doesn't tread more carefully in terms of the death of civilians. But there's no doubt, Pete, that that there are several cabinet ministers who've been in cabinet from what we've heard, Tony Burke, Ed Husic and the like, who've been pushing more for this ceasefire line. We saw Penny Wong come out and talk about a ceasefire. The letter's pretty couched. It says Hamas has to lay down arms and not be in charge of anything, but I still see it as significant and a movement away from, well, let's say Peter Dutton's position, which is all in with Israel, for example. There's definitely a difference between the two sides of politics there, and no doubt it'll be controversial then. But yes, they've done it with allies. That's right. They haven't been silly enough to do it by themselves, I guess.
Maybe COVID, but
yeah. Well, I was thinking that as I was speaking. Yeah.
So Simon Birmingham, I asked him about this this morning. He says, well, there's got to be more pressure that's placed on Hamas to give up those hostages as well. So that's perhaps something that Hamas needs to do. Whether it does that or not, well, that remains to be seen. But the interesting point you make about Penny Wong and Simon Burke and Ed Husic is you've got Josh Burns over in Israel at the moment. Yeah. I mean, sure, he's not a frontbencher, but he's there on this delegation and he's fully arguing against a ceasefire because it allows Hamas to rearm.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, poor old Josh Burns just a backbencher, I guess. Yeah. But I know what you mean. It is some division, it seems, on the Labor side. And the Liberals have a less nuanced position, shall we say. They're just like, Israel could do whatever it wants in order to get these hostages. So it's an easier political argument. There's obvious reasons for this. It's the vote out in Western Sydney. It's even some Labor membership out in Western Sydney that is piling heavy pressure on these MPs. I guess, frankly, the other factor is we're seeing daily these shots of kids being killed in Gaza as well. So, look, I don't think the Jewish community in Australia will be too happy with this. Let's face it. It's always been a difficult situation.
I don't know if you caught this. I know you've been caught in traffic, but Usman Khawaja's going to be making.
No, I did see that.
Yeah, I mean, this is all.
I saw
the story today.
I saw he'd put the signs on his shoes, right? And the Telegraph and the Australian have run that. So is he going to actually come out and talk to it?
Well, the reporting goes that he's going to be wearing it for the first test against Pakistan, which starts in Perth tomorrow. So I mean, that's getting into politics and sport. Supposed to stay neutral as according to ICC guidelines, but I mean. That's another angle today.
Do Cricket Australia intervene there? And the interesting aspect to that is he's done it in training. He's given that warning. You could easily just come out on day one and do it, couldn't you? So why has he done that? And I guess in doing that, he's put the onus on Cricket Australia to say, are we going to cop this or not? Or even the ICC. So
that's a very interesting one to see how that one goes today as well. So, some pretty interesting developments there in just the last few moments before you stepped up, Andrew. Appreciated that. That's our political editor, Andrew Clennell.